Hello, friends. Good evening. So today Jerome is going to explain about getting started with the Azure Data Studio. So he has overall 10 plus years of experience on the completely on a Microsoft stack. So today he is going to explain how we can use Azure Data Studio. So that's all. I want to give a small introduction. Jerome, so all yours now.
Thank you, sir.
Jerome, you can start sharing your
Yeah,
screen, and
yeah. Is my screen visible now?
it was visible. Now it is. Yeah, it is visible now.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, sir, for your introduction about me. So this is Jerome. Like as sir said, like I have 10 years of experience in .NET. So today, like we are going to oh, uh, today we are going to have deep knowledge about like some. It is a beginning knowledge about like Azure Data Studio and how we are going to use Azure Data Studio. So mostly it will be comparison like between. So I hope everyone will be aware of SQL Management Studio, which will be using on SQL servers. So we will be having a session like comparing between the two. What all the advantages we will be having using Azure Data Studio, and like what all the advantages we will be having. What is better from SQL Server Management Studio. So going forward, this is my like Twitter link and meetup of Tanjore, the meeting which we are having. So today's agenda will be like we will be having an introduction on Azure Data Studio, then the history which how Azure Data Studio was into the scene of on SMS. Then we will be diving deeply into how we will install Azure Studio, Azure Data Studio, then the features we are having in data Azure Data Studio and the comparison between SSMS and the features in Azure Data Studio as of now. Then there will be a small demo, like I will be connecting to how like we will be connecting to the data server from local premise, and then like some few queries and the features in live demo. So as everyone know, uh, SSMS, it can be like it was used only on Windows platform to get the queries done. So, like for create or like whatever database stories like we will be executing, we will be executing on SMS SSMS. Okay. So what happened was like nowadays uh, Microsoft is going for open source, so they were using they came Azure Data Studio, which can be run on Linux and Mac OS. So SSMS cannot be run on uh, mic, in Mac OS. But lately they supported from 2017, like they supported on Linux. But to be like overall to use for professionals either on premises or like on cloud data platform, they are using Azure Data Studio as of now. So unlike SSMS, you will be having lot of IntelliSense code snippets, source control integrations, and integrated terminals. So you can use Azure Data Studio for on premises data servers, as well as like in cloud as well. So you don't want to get confused like Azure Data Studio that we can work only on Azure machines, but it is not the case. You can work on local computer as well as in a cloud, in local server, local premise server, as well as in cloud as well. So likely like we will move to the history how it like we got to know about the Azure Studio, how and when it was like came into the existence uh, to the modern world. Okay, so like first it was known as like SQL Operations Studio. So mostly it was designed for querying the databases. Uh, so it came into in the existence of server SQL Operation Studio. Uh, it was like in a previous stage till 2017, and when it came to when they like when they like released, they changed the name of SQL Operation Studio to Azure Data Studio. So now, as of now, from from the date of the release, they are like every once in a month they are like updating or like launching a new releases as well. So, so as of now, like you would have like a quite a knowledge what is Azure Data Studio is. So to use it, we need to install, right? So this is the link. Like we will be downloading the Azure Studio. So you can use like since I am using Windows installer, so like we can use the red one mark like user installer or that one. If you are using Mac, you can go to the Microsoft page and you can download from there as well. So to connect as like to use Azure Data Studio, either you should have a local server in your system or you should have a Azure Data connection. So some server connection, so that we can work Azure Studio on that particular servers. If you don't have SQL Server in your local machines as well, you can download from the Microsoft Microsoft pages where we will be having SQL Server SQL Server. So, what are the features after installing? I will like go into the features and into the environment IDE after telling about what are the features we have in the Azure Data Studio. Once you are going into the demo, you will be like clearly understanding what are all the things we can deliberately use in Azure Data Studios. Okay, so this features which I'm going to discuss, I will show you uh, in demo as well. So Azure Data Studio is like it was created in like if you see the Azure Data Studio environment, it will be like more or less like the Visual Studio. Uh, Visual Studio Visual Code environment. Okay, it was built on that so that you can use as an editor for both like Azure Data Studio or like Visual Studio Code. So for cross-platform application, they use the Electron framework. So what the most basic features, whatever you are having in Visual Code, you will be having over here as well. So you can use SQL command, PowerShell, command line tools. Then you will be having Bash as well. Then you can use the SMS, most of the SMS tools like querying, TSQL editors. You can create store procedures. You can create you will be having multi-tabs windows as well. Then if you see SMS, you will be having only the results in a tabular form. You can or like you can convert that into a XML file or CSV file. But you have lots of options over here in Azure Data Studio. That's like you can convert the queries the results to JSON. You will be like converting. You can convert that to XML. You can convert that to CSV, and moreover, there is an future where you can view the results in graphs, like means it in charts as well. You have lots of charts like horizontal bar chart, pie chart. Likewise, you can view the data, the results of the queries in data charts as well. So to tell like more or less, this Azure Data Studio has been specifically developed for data scientists, where they can visualize their data and to work with the queries or the data representation. So like it is more or less this tool has been specifically used for our data scientists. It will be very helpful if you are a data scientist as well, because like in this tool you will be having Jupyter notebook as well. Those who are familiar with Python, or they are like those who are like data scientists, you know about data Jupyter notebook as well. So like I will show that as well. Okay, so next we will be moving, like I said like the future comparisons of like what all the things you can do in Azure Studio, what is the use of Azure Data Studio as well as SMS Management Studio. So when to use Azure Data Studio and when to use SQL Management Studio. Okay, so it is not about server. It is an IDE which we are used to retrieve the queries. Like we will like, for example, we will be telling like code operations, right? So to query things or like to work with the database, this tools has been used. So don't get confused with the server and this one. So this is just, both of them are just a tool, and the features are like I will be telling how when to use Azure Data Studio and where to use SQL Server Management Studio. If you are mostly editing your queries, then you can use Azure Data Studio. So like if you want, like as I said, you will be having a view, you can view the chart, data in chart, right? So that kind of things, when you are visualize your data, then Azure Studio is the best tool for you. Then if you are good at power skill, like PowerShell, or like in terminal, if you are using terminal or PowerShells, you can use Azure Data Studio. Okay, so you don't have like that much. If you are well versed in like SQL queries, that type of queries can be used over here. So this is known as these are the things when you have to keep, like if you want to have only these coding skills, or like you want to visualize your codes, like your results, or if you want to use terminal or PowerShell, you can go with Azure Data Studio. And more or less keep it in mind, like this Azure Data Studio is you can run on all the environments, like either it can be Windows, or it can be Mac OS, or it can be Linux. But SSMS you can run only in Windows. As of now, you have support in Linux, but in Mac you cannot have SQL Server Management Studio. When to go for SQL Management Studio? If you have like, as you know, like SQL Server, like you will be having lots of administrative tools where you need to check the vulnerability, or like security management system, bunch of changes, all the things. When you are going like it, you have to use SQL Server Management Studio. Most of the times, like we will be using like a database designing, and we will be having lots of database diagrams. So it will be adequate when these kinds of tasks. If you are relying on heavy tasks, you can use SQL Server Management Studio. Okay. So this is about like future comparisons as well. So hope you understood. You have got some knowledge about what is Azure Data Studio as of now. Okay. So without wasting time, we will go for a live demo how to use Azure Data Studio. So this is Azure Data Studio IDE. So as I said, like unless or otherwise, like it is same like it is built upon on the Visual Studio Code. So you can like you can see the Visual Studio IDE where like the same type they have created the Azure Data Studio as well. When you are like opening the Azure Data Studio, if you don't get the welcome page, you can go to help, and from here you can see the welcome page as well. So here you say this is the menu page when you will get when you are opening the Azure Data Studio. So new file is to create a new file. So I will come to this connection. So you will be having like you can run a query directly like straight away from here. As I said, those who are like known as like, known Jupyter Notebook, you can use the same from here. You can deploy a server over here, or you can like get it from the Azure Data Azure as well. So connection servers. So these are all like extensions. So marketplaces same like visual code where you can get install third parties as well. Okay, so we will like I will like show a demo like how to create a database. Then we'll have quick creating a database. Then we'll have a table created. Then we'll insert some data into that. Then we'll show how to use Jupyter Notebooks queries as well, and then how to create stored procedure and all the features which are existing in data Azure Data Studio. So 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 everyone knows like this is like connection type Microsoft SQL Server, since we are using Microsoft SQL Server. Okay, so I am connecting to my local server, so I am putting dot. So this is like the same like SSMS, where you will be having Windows authentication or SQL login. So just, as of now, just I am connected to my uh, normal default database. Then I will like, after connecting to my default database, after creating a database, I will show how to connect that particular database through this server group or optional name. Okay, uh, so to be telling this, what here we will connect to the database, since I'm like this database is the name of the database which I am going to connect. Now I am going to connect to the default, and this server group is nothing but, if you add a group, like we can like categorize. This is one advantage in Azure Data Studio. Nothing but, like, if you are creating a local group, so you can categorize whether this connection has been made for a local server, or like if Azure server, or like other on-premises data server. So you can categorize as such. So you can give a group name, local connection. You can like, you can to highlight what color you need, like you can do that as well. So I'm going to like, name is nothing but name of the local server group, and like you will be having like a database table names, lots of database name. So to know that I am working on, so okay, I'm working on Jerome local, or like low master. So Jerome default, I will give like this. Okay, if I am going to connect, it will come like this. So I have lots of databases, so it is showing all the databases and how many size of the databases in the chart over here. But right now we are not going to focus on this. I will create a database to work with. Okay, so either you can use Control N to create a new new file, new query window, or like you can like use this one. From here you can use the same. So not to waste time, like I have already worked on a few queries, so that I will use the same to create the database. So this is nothing but, I'm like this query I will explain you. So just like I have created an empty database base as of now. The name of the database is tutorial db. So nothing, it's like if it is already existing, I'm going to like not going to create one. Otherwise I'm going to create a new database. So here like query store, as you know, you can like query on the stuffs like statistic stuffs, or like you will be having the logs for the alter queries as such. Okay, so I'm going to create a database called tutorial db. So I have created a database. You will get the stuff like thing like this. And if you want to see the database which has been created, you can go refresh that and see the database over here. So it is tutorial TV. So as of now, we are like to hide this. As I said, you can group or like categorize on what you are working, right? So I will show again on that how to do that. I'm going to particularly connect to that particular database which are we are going to use. So here I am going to use the database name. You can have a server, or like you can use the same new group, or you can use the same one. So I'm just going to create a new group. So name will be like, we will be like working on that particular D. So we have connected to this. So I will create a table as of now. So I'm creating a table called customers. I will be having customer ID, name, location, and email. A simple table to demonstrate how we can work on Azure Data Studio. So after this, if you put, so as of now there is no data. So you are getting the data as empty. Now what we will do is like we will create a we will insert some data into the customer table. So I have like I have inserted four data into the customer table. So I will like select the data as of now, and you can see like what all the steps we have inserted over here. So as I said, you can like view the data or like export the data like into CSV, or like you can like into Excel. You can convert that into JSON, XML, and you can view the data in graph as well. So this will be a good tool if you are a data scientist. I will show that. So if you go here and see, you can visualize your data. You have lots of chart type. Okay, so if you want to view in table, you will like you in table. If you want to go in pie chart, you can view that in pie chart. So like lots of chart type you have. So you can visualize the results of the data after querying your data and what kind of data is coming. So analytics you can do it over here itself. So this is one type. So next, if you go to you, this from here, you can export the data into CSV. This is used to convert into Excel. This one you can convert into JSON. Okay, so this one it will be like used to convert into XML. So these are the types where you can export the data from the queries and visualize your data. I have just given a basic example like creating a database. So you can see that more or less it is like same like SMS, where like you can create a query, you can alter a query, you can create a database. Querying most of the stuffs what we are doing in SMS, we can do the same over here. But if you see, you will be having lot of intelligence. For example, if you want to create a store procedure, you can like if you type SQL store procedure, you will get a create store procedure. I will show you in the coming videos. So you have a lot of experience, IntelliSense right away basically installed in Azure Data Studio. If you are going to use these kinds of stuff, you have to like install third parties in SQL. Like you have to use if you want these kinds of intelligence, you have to install third parties in the SSMS. Okay. So for example, if you want to data, these are all default functions, right? So if I'm going to use the date difference and like click onto that and pick definition, here itself you can get the definitions of the date difference. But in SQL, like if you want to get this, you have to refer documents what it is, right? So likewise, you have lots of intelligence offered over here. This is one advantage when you are querying in Azure Data Studio. Now, as I said, for data scientists, those who know Python or those who use Jupyter Notebook, you can use that as well in Azure Data Studio. Now, like I will show you how to use that as well. Okay, new notebook. Okay, as you know, you can first you can have a textbook, like you can use the Jupyter notebook either for text or for like coding, right? So I will show just an example of tutorial DB. So this is I'm going to have a tutorial DB like this. Here I am going to add a code insert below. So this is where we are going to, since I am connected to SQL kernel, so it will be fetching queries from the SQL server, local server of SQL one. So just like we write the query. Yeah. So this is how you will be getting queries in Jupyter notebook, right? So you can make use of Jupyter notebook if you are like well versed in Jupyter notebook as well. Okay. So as of now, we have I have shown you how to use Azure Studio to query the table in SQL and using the Jupyter notebook. Now, I will show you how you can create store procedure. Okay. What are the intelligence we have for creating a store procedure? Likewise, we can create cursors or functions like that. But I will show you a small demo where how we can create a store procedure and how the intelligence is working for the store procedure. So if you this is create store booster. If you are going to click this, you will get what are the things, and you will have a get you will get a good definition, or like you can see how a store procedures index will be. Okay, so again I will show that. So if you type SQL create store proc or create table, you will get all the syntax of that particular. This is where like Azure Data Studio come into picture. This kinds of intelligence we don't have in SSMS. Okay, so just to show like this demo is like to show how we are working on TSQL, transact SQL. So this is the syntax. So I have worked on same syntax with to get the query result that I will show you. So what I have done is like I have written a store same store using the same syntax, just a symbol like just selecting all the customer name like the select query which we are using. So I'm just executing the query like dbo.get customer of ID one. If I'm going to use two, you will get this run. Okay, so this one, and for example, if you want to get this in a JSON path, you can have the result directly as well. Like you have the command like for JSON path. If I'm going to run this, you will be getting data as in JSON path, JSON format as well. So you know you are not like likewise we can like directly convert the data as per your view. As of now I will hold to the table version. So here also you can like if you are executing a store procedure also, you can have like convert this into like you can convert into graphs. You can visualize the data how it is represented. So as I said, it will be a good idea for Azure data like a data scientist who is willing like want to see or like do analytics. This tool will be a better one. So now I will move on to the next one. Like I'm not going to have a deep dive on it, but I will tell you like about the terminal as well. Control. So like the Visual Studio, you can open the Play and if you want to run work on using terminal as well, you can work that as well. You have power like you can work the same way you work in PowerShell as well, but make sure like the SQL has been like SQL version has been installed in its default path and refer to it correctly. Otherwise, it won't be working over here. So you can have terminals, you can have multiple tabs, you can work on PowerShell as well. So so far like we were seeing like SQL queries like the default working area, and like we use Jupyter notebook, Jupyter notebook environment, and like the third one like how to use TSQLs, and like how to use terminal or like PowerShell. So hope everyone like uh, understood or like would have got a basic idea on Azure Data Studio. If you have any doubt, and like we are coming to the end of the session, and if you are like if you have any doubt, you can contact contact me in my Twitter account. I will be very much happy to share the knowledge which I have. And thank you for the valuable time to listen to my like Azure Data Studio. Hope everyone understood it. Have a great day. Uh, See you on my next videos, and please watch the videos which we are doing live. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerome. So that was a wonderful session, Jerome. So we learned about what is Azure Data Studio and how it is differ from the SQL Server Management Studio. And you have given some insights about the Jupyter notebooks, and even we can see the output that we are getting it from. Generally, what happens from the developer point of view when we execute the statements in the SQL, then we need to convert into JSON or the CSV to test with the other application. So in the Azure Data Studio, whereas it can output the JSON format that will definitely will help the developers to directly bind the data into the JSON format to test their applications as well. That was a wonderful session, Jerome. Thanks for your time. Thanks, folks.